Hey everybody, Alex with Bay Cities Construction. Welcome to our weekly show. This is episode, what?
12.
Episode 12, 3 months into this bad boy. Today we're talking about countertops, quartz countertops, and granite. But we're going to talk about a wide selection of quartz that's available, and we're going to help you figure out which is the right countertop for your remodel. Stay tuned. My name's Alex Rodriguez, reminding you, you don't need a contractor, you need a team of pros. Folks, we're back. My name's Alex Rodriguez, and if you don't know us or you've never heard of our show, I represent Bay Cities Construction. We do this weekly show here on Facebook every single Tuesday at 5:30. So as always, I always like to receive a little bit of love and give a little bit of love. For those first five that share our stream, we'll get you either a cup of coffee, we got some Olive Garden tickets, and of course, for those of you who need a little bit of repair work around the house, some Home Depot gift cards. So today we are talking about countertops, and we're going to talk about quartz countertops. So it is something that I think most homeowners have a lot of questions about. Over the years, I've gotten a lot of different kind of stressed out concerns about which countertop is best and what they should use and how they should clean it and all that kind of stuff. So today we're going to talk about quartz and granite. We're going to talk about MS Internationa, one of the distributors that we use to source the quartz and granite. And we're going to talk about some of the top picks, and I'm also going to show you some pictures of some projects that we've done. So let's get into it. Quartz versus granite. I get this question a lot. We have blog articles on this. There's probably hundreds and hundreds of pages written on people's opinions of which is best. And the truth is that we should probably know what it is, what some of this stuff is, and where it comes from. So this is a quartz mine. That's a natural stone. Then there's the man-made quartz, which is crushed rock. But most people don't know that quartz is a natural stone. A lot of the mines, I think this one could be it looks like a quarry in Brazil, but I think it's for marble. Anyway, so lots of options on the quartz. And over the last probably 8 years, there's been an explosion on the options for man-made quartz, and they come prefab. There's some very good reasons why they're in such demand. You get a lot of flash for low cash. So let's talk about some of these differences and some of the applications. Up here we got some pictures of some marble it's not marble, actually it's a man-made quartz, but it is made to mimic marble and marble veining. And I'm gonna switch over some cameras here in a sec, Brian, to show the audience some of the different options here. I'm gonna lay them out. Tell me how we're doing on the screen there. You're getting a quartz. Let me show you what you can get as far as it looking like marble, right? Some of these look good. They do a good job of imitating. They do a good job of imitating and impersonating marble. Whoops. Sorry, folks. There's a little technical difficulty there. So all of these are marble. I could have used that as a quiz question. See if anybody out there would have caught it. But well, we'll see. We'll see if I'm going to try and trick you as we move forward here. Now look at this one. This one is really cool. This is Calcutta Classic. So there's all kinds. You've got kind of a natural warm tone feel. You've got something more like a Carrara marble. See, this is Blanca. So MSI, these are all MSI products, by the way. Just so happens that I have a full little lineup of their stuff. So this quartz stuff is really cool. It's much cheaper than marble. It's actually much better for a kitchen countertop than a natural marble. You can get a pretty light colored material, and it doesn't behave like feedback. You guys feedback? Am I crossed here? How's that? Is that better? Okay, sorry guys. You can get the stain fighting characteristics of a man-made material versus the staining potential that you can get from real marble. So this is really a very exciting line. So granite, it's hard. Granite is definitely a very hard material. It is a little porous. Some of them are more porous than others. We're going to talk about. We got some cool pictures and some insight to share with you about granite. I like granite. There's definitely a use for granite, and there's definitely some houses, some projects that are better for natural stone than others, and a lot of it really depends on a person's budget and what the look is that they're going for. So this is a good example of a Barcelona granite, and nice looking material. If you notice this granite, if you were to ever go to a friend's house, or maybe you have some of this granite, it was very popular back in the 80s. If you were to look at the sheen, right? Like if you were to look at your countertop sideways, should I get the camera back on me? If you wanted to see the true hardness of the material, this material has areas of a granite, areas of the surface that don't get a shine. The rock isn't hard enough when it gets polished. So when you're looking kind of sideways at a surface to see how even the shine is, that tells you the quality of it. Typically speaking, most people want a surface that has an even shine, right? Like the one here at my office. If you come to my office to meet with me eventually, you'll see this is my beautiful quartzite table. This is an amazing natural stone, and the shine of, when you look at the glare sideways, you can see there's an even polish. There aren't a bunch of little holes everywhere. With a Barcelona granite, when you look at it from an angle, you can tell the little holes. And it bugs some people more than others. The pattern and the aggregate inside of the granite have a lot to do with it. So let's kind of look at some, and you guys can send Brian an email, and we can send you these slides if you like, or you can definitely post your request for that on the chat. We'll answer your questions, and we'll also send you a copy of the slides if you want them.
We do want to say hi to Luz and Emily for joining us.
Hi, Luz and Emily. So as you're looking at granite, as you're making this evaluation, right? You've got the granite there are more granite options for sure, by far, than anything that's a man-made quartz. So there's that, right? Like there's a big variety. They're fabricated. Let's see, this is a prefabricated granite. Okay, prefabricated granite is actually cheaper than man-made quartz in some cases. So there's some really good value stones. You can get a nice kind of posh look in granite by buying prefabricated stones, so you save yourself the cost of the labor. And we'll talk a little bit about that slab versus prefab. But the big cons, I think, when people complain about a granite, it's that it's porous. Every once in a while, somebody talks about like radon gas or something like that in there. I've yet to see any issues along those lines. Some of the lighter granites, the cons is that they're a little more susceptible to staining, and they need to be resealed once a year. So that's the manufacturer's recommendation. I think it's probably a good idea to spray some sealer on the granite weekly when you clean it, So quartz wise, it's non-porous, it's got a uniform look, it predictable. From one slab to the other, they're exactly the same color. Very few times will you have an issue where you bump up one quartz piece next to another and the colors don't match. That is not so much issue. That becomes a bigger issue for installation for granite, because you can get stones from different bundles and the movement of the aggregate and stuff like that, it just doesn't match. Like you can get stone, this is a quartz, but you can see that these are two different movements. So depending on where you get your granite piece, you could have a situation where two pieces like this would be meeting. And people don't like that, so you have to deal with that. So you end up having to get a little bit more stone than you need, so you can select the pieces that would match up together well. But that's its own little seminar. So the quartz really is a lower cost option, typically speaking. It comes prefabricated, so it comes 24 inches deep and not either 8 or 9 foot sections depending on the manufacturer. So quartz is typically a much better option if you want a luxurious look but you don't want to pay too much, your budget constraints, or if you're going to put countertops into a high traffic area, okay, something that's going to be wet a lot, it's going to be used a lot. I think quartz definitely beats them on that. So the pros and cons, the granites, man, there's some really beautiful granites. They look like works of art, and they're pretty impressive. Much of the granite is 350 million years old or something crazy like that, depending on what part of the planet it's quarried in. So granite has definitely some appeal and some positives, and if your budget allows, you should consider granite as an option. So let's talk a little bit about MSI. I get a lot of questions about, where we source materials and how it is that we can do what we do. And people many times want to go and shop for tile on their own and stuff like that. So this is we are a distributor for MSI. We have a commercial account with them. So when you buy from us, it's like if you buy from a store. There's plenty of foot traffic there, but I don't think that they sell to the public. You have to have a commercial account, right, Brian? I mean, yeah, I had to open an account to buy from them, so that's just kind of the deal. So I didn't. We very seldom. With that said, we very seldom send people to the store by themselves. Well, actually, no, not very seldom. We very seldom go to the store with our clients. We normally bring the tile to them. But when we do, we never send them by themselves. They always have a designer, or I'll go with them. The reason is because MS International is an international company. There are literally thousands of choices. Could be hundreds of choices, thousands of selection. Thousands of selection, hundreds of choices. Anyway, it's overwhelming. Every time I've sent people on their own from there, they're like, I didn't find anything I liked. I'm like, man, they've got half of the stuff. They've got the market cornered on the availability and the options of these materials. It's there. It was just, that place is so big you couldn't find it. So we don't do that. We always go with you. And for those of you that have talked to me and we've had kind of like some type of interaction either online, and you think that that's a weird thing, like I don't send my customers out to go shopping, it's because you paid us to do this for you, right? If you paid an interior designer, say $5,000-$6,000 to design your kitchen, you would want them to do a lot of the legwork for you. So that's what we do. We do the legwork. It isn't like there's some mystery or anything. It's just that I have not had a better result by people going to the store unprepared. There's a specific process to this, actually. What we do prior to being shown, my customers being shown any type of stone selection, or really anything for that matter, we ask that our clients send us 10 to 25 inspiration pictures of kitchens that they love or bathrooms that they love. And we look at that and we circle the things that the components that the customer likes in each picture. And then we formulate we do, we lay things out and we start taking materials. The only materials that can stay on the table are the ones that have an attribute that matches with one of the pictures our client sent us. So by the time the client is presented with tiles, they'll have 3 or 4 configurations of tile. So it'll be the countertop, the floor tile, the shower, if it's a bathroom, obviously. So in the case of most of the kitchens, it'll be definitely a stone countertop, backsplash, and flooring. And there'll be combinations of that along with the cabinetry so that customers can make a selection. The point is that I have literally seen people like have the conundrum of choice, where you have too many options and then you don't choose any of them because you're confused. I've seen people at MSI where their contractor sent them down there to pick something, and they're in there complaining. They're like, I can't believe, like they've walked. Most of the time, people walk out of there. Sometimes they pick something and it's probably not appropriate for the location that tile is being installed. So you need help. The folks need help, and that's one of the things that we do as part of our service. So MSI is an international distributor of stone and tile, and they have a tremendous amount of selection. This is a picture of the yard over in Santa Ana, the Santa Ana office. Now, oh man, that's a nice, that little stone where my mouse is, that's actually a Taj Mahal. It's a quartzite. Anyway, they have rows and rows of this stuff, and this is only a small part of their selection. They're a big distributor, I think they're an importer and distributor. So let me go back here. I just wanted to talk about. You know what? Let's take a little break, folks. We'll be back, and we are going to talk about premium natural quartz from MSI.
Kitchen you want today from Bay Cities Construction in the Southern California and Los Angeles area. There is no better company who takes time out of the equation to get you a detailed plan of what your new kitchen will look like. Get your design plans done, your interior design plans done, and entire project scope done right now. Get your finished kitchen in 90 days or less. We are the best in the Los Angeles and Southern California area, and there's no need to shop anywhere else. Just get started with Bay Cities Construction. Go to baycitiesconstruction.com. That's baycitiesconstruction.com. Looking for a bathroom remodel in the Southern California and Los Angeles area? If you've shopped and you've looked at prices and have no clue where to start, let Bay Cities Construction get you started with a quote of get design, interior design, project scope, and know exactly what it will cost to get your bathroom remodeled. There is no guesswork and no need to shop around. Just take time out of the equation to get your new bathroom in 90 days. Get your estimate now at baycitiesconstruction.com. That's baycitiesconstruction.com.
Welcome back, folks. Alex with Bay Cities Construction here. If you're new to the show, please stick around because we are talking about countertops for kitchens and bathrooms, and we are going to start talking about quartz.
And we'll answer your
questions as we go. Brian's going to read off a couple questions here in a few minutes, and we'll answer those. I'll answer them as best I can, and if I don't know the answer, I'll make it up, and you won't know the difference. It'll be fine. Just kidding. So, okay, let's talk about quartz. This is a color catalog of all of the countertops that MSI makes. They're sold under their premium natural deal. They're man-made, okay? This is they do use quartz, but it's crushed and reconfigured and put in with some polymers, and then bam, you've got all of these kind of cool colors, like this Pacific Salt. Actually, we installed that in a job last year. It looks pretty darn nice. Looks pretty expensive, all things said. These things are good price points. So let's shoot a question. What do we got? We got any questions out there?
Yeah, we do have a couple questions. One of the latest questions from Luz, she asked, which stone is denser, granite or quartz, and is that important when picking a natural stone?
That's a great question. I don't think that the density of the stone is that much of an issue. I think a lot of these man-made materials, like particularly this one that has like a real small aggregate. This is a Sahara Beige by Premium Natural Quartz by MSI. This is pretty damn dense, and it's very, very durable. Put it over here. this material here, any of these quartz, they're probably a little bit denser than granite, but I don't think that that really is the issue. The issue is what is the maintenance that the surface requires, right? And for most people, they want the lowest maintenance possible. There's countertops that are made out of soapstone. It's super soft, and you have to constantly be oiling it, and it's just kind of like a high maintenance thing, and it feels kind of funky. The quartz, you can they're easy to keep clean and they're not porous, so that's a big concern, I think, for most people. I have granite at the house, and come to think of it, over the years, and I'm talking about probably 7 years that it's been on the countertops now, I've started to see a little bit of darkening in the aggregate. Our color's kind of like this. And there's a little bit of darkening from the oil that splatters off the stove over the years. But like we don't have staining like of wine, and we drink wine often. Not as often as I'd like, but often. And it hasn't stained to like say a level we have to strip out, But this it looks like this, the one we have at our house. We have any other questions?
Yeah, another question from one of our usual viewers, Emily Cox. She wants to know, what's the difference between quartz and quartzite?
Quartzite, it's a different type of rock. This is actually a quartzite here. People call them like a marble. It's the quartz is also a stone, but what you're looking at here, what you should understand is that they basically get the raw material from quartz, they grind it up, they mix it with polymers, and they get this. This stuff is made from quartz, but it's man-made, versus a quartzite, which is what my table is, right? This is a legit, straight-up natural stone. It was cut and polished, and that's how it came. This was ground down and is part of a chemical mix, right, to get those little aggregate pieces and stuff like that. So hopefully that answers your question. Does that answer your question, Emily? If not, I'll keep going.
We do have one more question.
Okay.
We have more, but one more before we keep moving.
Okay.
From one of our viewers, Humble My Soul. They want to know which material is best suited for a shower.
So none of these. These are all, we're talking about slabs here now. So the setup is, they're just big pieces. I suppose that you could use like a material that's up on the screen. Why don't you do a P&P? This material here, you could, they sell it in large slabs. You could put it in a bathroom. I haven't done that yet. I think that's actually kind of a really good idea. This would be super low maintenance, even in the shower. I think you could put this in, you'd have some kind of different material on the floor, the shower floor, but you could use this on the walls and have, all three walls be like, they look like a big old slab. I think it'd be a great option, honestly. The back of it would be waterproofed, so there's no issue. The stones aren't really porous. They don't transmit water. Like you can't, if you were to put water on top of this and let it sit through granite, it would eventually seep in and come out, drip out. It behaves like glass. It's not porous. So I think it'd be a great option for the shower. What other questions we got? Any more granite questions?
Another question also from Humble My Soul. They asked, if sealed correctly, will water deposits form on the marble? I'm a huge fan of Carrara marble. Do you recommend for a bathroom?
Carrara marble you can use in a bathroom. We did a Carrara marble subway tile in a job about 2 or 3 years ago. There's issues with that. I think that's a great question. There's issues with the Carrara marble tiles. They're normally leftovers from like the bigger cuts. So there's some polishing issues. Like there's a lot of tiles that have deformations, or the grain just doesn't look as nice as it could. It almost looks like they're pitted, like they have little holes. So you got to kind of watch out for that. If you're talking about putting a full marble slab, that's like very posh 1930s, like the Getty House type stuff. But Yeah, you can definitely do that. Just understand that if there is any iron in that marble, when it's exposed to water, it will yellow. You'll start getting yellow streaks out of the marble, and it's because of iron deposits that when the water touches it. And I don't think there's any kind of sealer that would prevent that. Now, there's another marble there's a kind of a Carrara that's almost all white. It has very, very little gray in it. And it's probably, I think, some of the most expensive marble. I think that marble is so pure, I don't think it has any iron in it. So the likelihood of that happening are less. But you should definitely check with your installer about that. That's a cool kind of technical question. Let's see. Natural quartz fused with resin. So that's basically our little explanation here. This happens to be Calcutta Lucia, an MSI color. That stone looks really nice. One of the other things that you should consider is that the stone is a little bit harder for your fabricator, because it's harder to work, but it definitely gets a real nice polish, and it's easy to edge. Well, not easy to edge, but the edge profile is sharp. It looks real cool, and the edge polishes well. So you can take a look at the edge of this. This is like not a double bow nose, but an OG. This is a one-sided OG, and real nice. Real nice. That stone really looks tip top. All of our stones, we typically carry the vein. You see how the vein goes from, I don't know, is it this way? Anyway, the vein carries down from the flat surface over the edge. You see kind of how that gray flows right here. Okay, that's from cutting. This slab typically is not this thick. It's a lot thinner, and we glue another piece here. But we will glue. We typically haven't been doing the OGs recently. We've been doing just a square edge with a radius on it. Anyway, we cut this at 45 degrees, so when it folds over, right? So the stone's going to go like this, and it'll have a real tight seam right here in the middle. Real tight, like it's not going to be like this. It'll be at 45, but the end joint is so thin that it looks like that. It looks like the stone just continues over the edge, which is a sign of a very very well fabricated countertop, by the way. People like the natural, they like the man-made quartz because it's non-porous. Bacteria doesn't get in it. I mean, you can have bacteria on top, but that gets cleaned off with a little bit of, your countertop cleaner with a little bit of bleach in it, and I'm sure you're good to go. And it's a cool little option. One of the reasons people like it. Here's a job we did over in Gardena last year, and they used the quartz with some subway tiles. So it's pretty cool looking. That's the Calcutta Laza, by the way. See if we got. This is the same material that's in my countertop, super white quartzite. Sorry, we misnomered it. But this here is how I got my hernia. This material here is definitely a real nice quartz material. It's the Cashmere Carrara. It comes in these big slabs, or it comes prefabricated. So it's pretty cool. If you have an island, you can buy a slab for it, and then you can save a little bit of money on the labor for the countertops by buying the prefab. And there is no issues with the colors. The colors match really good. So it's a cool deal. This is another quartz that we used in the bathroom. This is a little bit different. I don't think it's the Cashmere Carrara. That's another MSI product. But you can use them for both. Now, I know some of you guys may be posting, hey, what's with the little crack there and stuff. We hadn't set when this picture was taken, we hadn't set the silicone in. Let's see, what do we got? What's next? Oh, it's another little close-up. Top picks. Let's go to the top picks. I think of all of the different options that we've shown and shared with our customers, the ones that they are gravitating to are the Calcutta Classic and the Calcutta Lago. And we've got We've got some of that in here. Calcutta, that's the classic. And
They were in order.
Cashmere Carrera. Oh yeah, Cashmere. The logo. Oh, we may not have the logo. Okay. I'll tell you what's another one we sell a ton of. These. So this is same veining, except it's whiter. That's more warm. Some people have a very specific selection. I mean, a very specific eye for this stuff. We've sold a ton of Cashmere Carrera. It's on the. So if you don't like a lot of the gray, that's a lot less gray. And then this is a version that's called the Blanc. This is a new one, the Arbescato. So this is a little bit more gray than this, in a little bit more gray veining, and the tone of the resin is lighter, closer to the white. You got to be really careful when you're selecting these because they're definitely making a distinct warm tone versus like a more white and light tone. Like this is definitely, if you put these two together, see how this one looks super yellow, but if you look at it by itself, it looks warm, a warm yellow, you know. So something to consider there. This is the classic, and those veinings, it's, you know, they're trying to make them random. That's the Arbescato. That's this stuff right here. This stuff right here is good stuff. Real nice. This is a newer color from them. I think we have a project in line that's going to use that one. The sparkling color. So you've seen the ones that are natural stone. Now you're going to, that mimic natural stone. Now you're going to look at stuff that is straight up, you know that it's not a natural stone because it's got some bling in it. So here's sparkling white. And they call it sparkling white because it's got a little bit of like a green glass in it. There's a brown. So these speckly ones are come in a bunch of different colors. And you know what I found out about these? I have come to terms with. People either like them or they hate them. There's no in between. Most people either dig them and like say I want that, or they're like no, I don't want any of that. Are they picture in picture, or are you looking at this stuff here? Okay. Do we got any questions? Give me some questions.
Yeah, we do have some questions from the audience.
What do you got? Give it to me.
So Emily also asks, so is quartzite easy to care for just like quartz?
Quartzite easy to care? Yes, I think it is. The cleaner has to be a little bit different than you clean it, but it is super, super hard. It is nowhere near as porous as some of the quartz. Although, I mean, as some of the granites, I think quartzite is easier to care for than granite, but it's more expensive too than many of the granites, depending on which one you get. What other questions we got?
Another question from Humble My Soul. They said, would acidic foods tarnish the marble or granite?
So acidic foods will take it. It doesn't tarnish it. It eats away at the sheen. For the most part, I have seen some granite that looked like it was done, and the restorers, they came in and they rebuffed it. They used an abrasive paste and they rebuffed the surface, and it's amazing how it got its natural shine back. In fact, it may have even looked a little shinier than before it was installed. But I think that there's definitely some granites that are more absorbent than others and are more durable than others. The thing you got to watch out with the acid is the effect on the finish. And I think you could see it easier on like darker stone, like on the blacks. I think you could see it easier if you had damage to the finish. But it's repairable. That's the good part, for the most part.
Another question from the same viewer. Is the vein a weak point in the material?
The vein is a weak point, yes. The vein basically was a void that was created and was filled in with with a quartz material or a mineral or a version of it. It's basically water gets in there with the minerals and eventually gets filled in place. There's all sorts of different ways that the veining gets its color, but yeah, it can be a weak point. Anything else?
Yeah, another question. What's the difference between a prefab and a slab?
That's a great question. A prefabricated countertop means that the counter's edge has been fabricated at a factory and it's cut to length, typically 6 feet in length, and it has a finished edge. It also typically comes with a backsplash, 24 inches deep. It's all set for American cabinets, 24 inches deep with a 6-inch backsplash, and it has a finished edge. Many of the popular granites you can find in a prefabricated product for sure. I would say 90% of the quartz, man-made quartz, you can find in slab and in prefabricated. So that's kind of because it's easy. The prefabricated, basically you get a full slab, right? A normal slab's probably about 5 or 6 feet wide and 8 feet long, 9 feet long. Quartz, you end up losing a little bit of granite, you end up losing a little bit of the slab because typically it'll be broken, or there'll be chips, or there'll be sections in it that are erratic in its pattern, so you don't use it. You don't have that problem with man-made quartz material. That's all. They come in 5 by 10 sheets, and they're all uniform in color, uniform in thickness. They're good to go. Give me some more questions. What else we got?
So another question is, do you seal or refinish countertops?
No. Well, we seal them after we install them, but like we don't do it as a service. There's people that'll go out, they're experts at that. They're experts at restoring stones that have been damaged or whatever. So you can probably find somebody like that on Yelp.
Another question from one of our viewers is, we want a marble look in our kitchen. Would you recommend actual marble or a quartz with a marble look?
I definitely recommend a quartz with a marble look. I am really worried about the marble that has, and it's very difficult to tell, marble that has iron in it turns yellow. People get extremely pissed off about that. Like, they don't like that. So the more your marble is exposed to water, you have oxidation. It's just not very predictable. So I would definitely recommend, if you want the marble look, get a quartz a man-made quartz that mimics that. There's a lot of really nice ones now.
Another question from one of our viewers is, do you install countertops with a cement finish or with a cement look?
Yes, there's a product from MSI that mimics cement, but we don't do lightweight concrete. The actual concrete stuff we don't do. So if a client wants that concrete look, we would recommend them one of the stones made by MSI that looks just like concrete. I think it's called cemento. So it's a good match for concrete. And again, the concrete is porous, it's softer. That quartz material is pretty amazing. It's pretty good stuff. What else we got?
Another question: how long does it take to install countertops like the ones that you showed?
Those are all custom made. Most of the fabrication's done at the factory. So from the time the guys come measure and then they come back and install, it's probably about a week. Could be a week and a half. I used to have another fabricator that would fabricate on site. For the most part, the only fabrication on site is the final finish. So they'll cut the sinks and put all that stuff in the day of. But for the most part, I would say a week and a half to be unsafe. Call it 2 weeks to be safe. What else we have? But prefabricated countertops are a lot faster. If you were to want everything in slab, it could be easily twice as long as that for fabrication.
Another question: will installing fancy countertops affect my property taxes?
Nope. Nope. The only thing that normally triggers a property tax review is if you buy it or sell it, or if you knock it down and build new construction. Sometimes in LA County, when you do a certain amount of work, they send you that little form that you have to fill out, and they're basically looking to see if you added square footage, and then they could reassess you. Sneaky little politicians. LA County.
Another question is, how often should countertops be sealed?
Seal them every week. There's some really cool cleaners you can get at the Home Depot now. Barkeeper's Friend, Barkeeper's Helper, Barkeeper's Friend, one of those. It's like a rub-on, like it's a soft liquid. Just rub that on, take it off, you're good to go. That stuff is good. There's plenty of spray and seals that you wipe off, and it doesn't leave a finish. The first one, after you get it installed, it should be sealed evenly with this real hardcore sealer that we use that smells up the whole place. I mean, like, it's pretty strong, pretty bad VOCs, but it works for the first seal. It's a good product that locks everything in place. And then you can clean it a couple times a week. You can spray it down once or a couple times a week to seal it, as you see fit on a weekly basis.
Great. Another question is, we're looking to remodel our kitchen. How can we make sure that we get the perfect look for our countertop?
The perfect look can only be found by you, and you just need a little bit of help. I really don't think it's a good idea for people to go on their own. We used to not be involved with the design process of the construction for many years, and we found that, like, a lot of homeowners, they bought the wrong stuff. They bought stuff that was on sale, but maybe was out of spec, like tiles that weren't square. That was a nightmare. So you really should get some kind of professional advice. I mean, I'm not talking about just hiring us. I mean, you should have some professional advice. A designer helps. It's expensive, but not everybody can afford a designer. We started doing the design services for our customers because we got tired of of seeing them kind of struggle with buying the wrong stuff, or stuff that's not going to work, or stuff that doesn't look good. I mean, there's a lot of issues with that. We could never get these projects launched because people couldn't make decisions on time, and it was very fragmented. So that's why we started, it's been a few years now, to provide professional design services. And it's not necessarily just me. I mean, although I can design a kitchen, I've got two designers that will help work with your inspiration pictures, kind of capture your idea, and start to find you materials that look like that and put the whole thing together. But I don't think it's something that happens by accident. I think it's a very deliberate series of activities that you got to take. What else we got?
Another question from one of our viewers, Leonel Ibarra. We want to say hi to him.
Hey, Leonel, how are you doing?
Are quartz countertops more expensive than granite?
No, they're typically cheaper. Although, look, there's granites. Okay, so let's talk a little bit of money. There are some granites that are $2,500 a slab, and I don't think that the most expensive quartz is more than $2,000. Them are going to be between $1,200 and $1,800 for a quartz, a man-made quartz. So there's some granites that are like $3,000, $4,000 a slab. So I think most of the time the man-made stuff is going to be less expensive. Does that answer your question?
Another question from one of our viewers: is it cheaper to hire an interior designer rather than a contractor?
Is it cheaper to hire an interior designer than a contractor? Well, typically, like, I'm assuming that you're talking about, like, should you hire, like, where do you start? I don't know. I think that's kind of where that question comes from, right?
I guess, how can you get your kitchen for the cheapest price or for the best price?
Oh, well, the best price would be for you to do some work yourself. You know, I mean, that's the cheapest. If somebody acts as their own contractor, of course it's going to be potentially cheaper, pending that they get everything right. But yeah, interior designers are just going to add. They're going to add an overhead price to the whole thing, right? Like, let's say your bathroom remodeling labor is going to be, I don't know, $2,500, $25,000, something like that, $20,000. If you pay $3 or $4 to a designer, that's money that was probably well spent if you felt like you needed the help picking the right stuff. Like, I think it's all relative. I don't think that you must get a designer, or you must have a designer, or you must have a contractor that has a designer. I think that different people feel comfortable. They have different comfort levels for what they want to engage in. There are some people that basically are like, hey, look, tell me what to pick. I kind of like these things, but guide me through the whole thing. The higher the budget is, the higher I think the level of anxiety and uncertainty is in the homeowner, because they don't want to make a wrong choice. So to answer your question, is some people, it would be cool, like they can pick out most of the stuff themselves. We've worked with people like that. They were like, I like that, and that. And then they need a little bit of advice just to stay away from some problem products. Other people require tremendous amount of help. And then other people are kind of somewhere in the middle. So it's hard to say. I don't think that there's a perfect answer for that. I think that if you feel like you need a designer, hire one. If you feel like you can do good with a designer that works for a contractor, then do that. It's kind of, I think it's the happy medium. It's definitely a great service that we have for our customers. What else we got?
Another question regarding purchasing stone. Do you only use MSI as a vendor, or do you purchase from other places?
I purchase from other places. I do use MSI predominantly because I can present my customers with a portfolio of solutions. Different styles, different tastes, different looks completely, and I can source it from one place. So from us, if we can source as much stuff from one place, it makes us more efficient. The customer gets a better deal. So that's how we like to do it.
Another question from one of our viewers. They said, so you just mentioned that the cheapest way is to do it all yourself. Do you work with people that purchase their own materials?
Ooh, okay, man, I'm getting specific now. Typically, no. Typically, we like to just do the work. It's just our past experience. Most of the time, there's issues with the materials they pick and stuff like that. It isn't so much a money thing. It's more like a responsibility thing. Like if something were to go wrong, like let's say that tile were to do weird stuff, it were to crack, or let's say there's a defect with it, then there's like this whole back and forth on whose fault was what and what was the chain of custody. So I don't have any time for that. I don't want to deal with all that stuff. There's plenty of guys out there that'll just step on in and start installing for you whatever it is you want. So that'll be cheaper probably too.
Another question. Can quartz countertops withstand heat?
Yes. There's no heat issue. You can put a hot pan on it. No problem.
Another question. Why are some quartz stones countertops more expensive than others?
I think it has to do with probably a little bit of the manufacturing. Probably most of the manufacturing, and then they kind of get hit when something is a hit. But the variance in price is not much. You're talking like maybe a 15% swing. 20% would be a lot, I think. So it's not a major. I don't think that the cost of this one versus the cost of this one would deter most people on price. I think they would pick the one they want based on the looks of it.
Another question from one of our viewers. Lots of questions today.
Cool.
Can quartz crack or chip like granite does?
No. Let's get this other camera up. Are we having feedback problems? This deal here. All right, this here. So you see the pretty much all the white material in between the little rocks. That's all glue. That's all glue. There's no voids. There's nothing empty there. So this is super, super hard. And it won't chip. And it polishes even. It looks pretty cool.
Another question. Are there any weight restrictions when it comes to stone countertops?
If you are on the second floor, we did have a little scare last year. There's some dead load requirements. We put a big old thing of slab on one of those jobs, and I had to double check with the engineer and make sure we were good, because the weight was pretty brutal. The cabinet guys were totally confident that their cabinets would withstand the weight. The issue was the kitchen was on the second floor, and I was worried that it weighed too much. It was going to cause a shear effect, basically damage the subfloor, but it didn't. Everything calced out. It was all good.
Looks like we have another question. How long? Excuse me. How long do sealers last, typically?
I would assume that you need okay. So there's two kinds of sealers. There's a sealer that you can spray on, that you can do weekly, and then there's like one, the initial one that is typically installed after the countertops are put in. Right? It just gets one sealing nice and even. I think like a strip and a seal, professionally done, you could do once a year. Is probably okay. If you had a lighter color stone, I would maybe do it every 6 months. But that's it. The quartz, like this man-made stuff, you can just clean it every day and you don't have to worry about sealing it. That's a great question, though. Folks, if you want to learn more, do we have anybody else? Anybody else? You want to learn more about countertops? You can visit MSI's website. You can also visit us at baycitiesconstruction.com. We've got tons and tons of blog articles. But MSI Quartz Countertops, they also have a really cool program that you can superimpose the countertops on a surface. Pretty cool. If you're considering doing a kitchen remodel, this should be part of your homework assignment. And for those of you who know me, I'm a part-time college professor, and I love to give homework. So you have officially been issued homework for your new kitchen and bathroom remodel. If you are interested in learning more about kitchen remodeling, bathroom remodeling, we have a ton of articles in our library. I think we almost have 400 articles on there. It's a ton of them. And you can access them for free at baycitiesconstruction.com/blog, as you see on the screen. This is for you. I've spent tens of thousands of dollars making this blog library for you. So enjoy it. For those of you that don't know me, I'm on the right. My name is Alex Rodriguez. I'm a licensed contractor. Been in business over 15 years. Yes, I was dumb enough to start a construction company during the middle of the greatest financial crisis ever. And we made it through. So we've been around for a little bit. We know what we're doing. So let me tell you what we do. My team of pros, we will help you design a beautiful interior space. If you need to move walls, you need to add, you need help with that, we have architectural and engineering services. We will represent you with the city, and we will manage your construction project. We do all of the services for you, our customers. You can follow us on Facebook. We are here on Facebook every single Tuesday, 5:30. Could be a little later. Depends on how many freaking jobs we have to deal with here. We are, you may not realize this, but we're not professionals at broadcasting here on Facebook. So, folks, my name's I am here. Give our offices a call. You can also visit us at baycitiesconstruction.com. With that said, I thank you for visiting us on episode what?
12.
Episode 12. We'll see you folks next week. My name is Alex of Bay Cities Construction, reminding you do not need a contractor. You need a team of pros.
Looking for a bathroom remodel in the Southern California and Los Angeles area? If you've shopped and you've looked at prices and have no clue where to start, let Bay Cities Construction get you started with a quote of get design, interior design, project scope, and know exactly what it will cost to get your bathroom remodeled. There is no guesswork and no need to shop around. Just take time out of the equation to get your new bathroom in 90 days. Get your estimate now at baycitiesconstruction.com. That's baycitiesconstruction.com.
Hey folks, I'm back just to give you an amazing offer. Since we're talking about kitchen and bathroom remodeling today, we are doing a kitchen remodel for $1,800. It's all in for your design. You will get a layout, you will get a lighting plan, you will get everything, help with everything that you need to select for $1,800 for a kitchen. If you're doing a bathroom remodel for $1,250, we'll help you pick out your tile, your countertops, design a tile layout for you, figure out what your cabinets are going to be, pick out all your plumbing fixtures, everything that is required here. If you give our offices a call this month, before tax season, okay, before April 15th, so Brian, write that down. They're not eligible after the 15th. I'll give you 50% of the design fee towards the construction costs, okay? So it's pennies. You're going to get an interior designer for like $1,500 or something like that. A little bit less than $1,000, close to $1,000. So kitchen remodel, $1,800. Bathroom remodel, $1,250. My name's Alex with Bay Cities Construction. I love to answer your questions. Send me some pictures of your project to alex@baycitiesconstruction.com, and I'll talk to you over the phone, give you whatever advice, answer as many questions as you like. You can come and visit me here at our offices in Torrance. So come on down, take advantage of this sale before tax day, and I'll look forward to meeting you here at the office and visiting your place. My name's Alex Rodriguez, reminding you, you don't need a contract, you need a team of pros.